had no reason to think that I would never see my mother again. It was a stroke, they said. It was a shock to all of us as family and unfamiliar relatives would come and go, 2, 3, 4 at a time. Poor babies, many of the women would say, as they'd file in and out just about every hour on the hour, bringing their offerings of cakes, pies, and pots of food. I imagine it must have been quite an effort in 1964, as relatives arrived from as far as Oklahoma by train, crossing as much as 3 states, dipping into savings, borrowing from whatever resources were available at the time. Grandma, Aunt Dovey, Uncle Willie, Aunt Eldessa, Uncle John L. The majority of Mama's surviving siblings were there. In a small, quiet area of the funeral home, Aunt Dovey tearfully sang the words of an old gospel hymn. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand, as friends and acquaintances paid their respects during an initial viewing. There, nestled among the thighs and hip pockets of strangers and a tearful father donning dark shades, just at eye level, I peeked over into the long casket where my mother lay, watching her stillness. It was as if she had fallen into some fairy tale-like slumber. The blue dress that she wore was as vibrant as the necklace that rested atop her bosom, forming a wavering image as it shimmered in the passive light of the small Baptist church, just a few short blocks from our now uncertain home. It was a perplexing moment for me as I stood there partially hidden from the view of curious onlookers seated in the rows of pews just behind us. Who are all these people and why are they sobbing and moaning? I didn't understand how this moment would change the course of my entire life. We were quietly led away, guided by soft-spoken white-gloved ushers down the aisle, past the hard wooden pews, and out into the long black limousine that awaited us. Our hearts had sunken deeper still in that moment. We were all silent, waiting for an impending confirmation. At the gravesite, Mama's casket lay in shadow beneath the green canvas tent, suspended just above a precisely carved opening in the earth. I remember the 4 pillars, one positioned at each corner of the grave, as canvas straps stretched tightly across from one side to the other, as it supported her casket, ever so steady. It was this mechanism that would introduce my mother back to the earth. A sober crowd gathered tightly under the canvas tent around my mother's grave, clustered in the intermittent shadow as the pastor offered a final eulogy and words of encouragement to our remaining family. We were seated in the front row in wooden folding chairs, lined up along one side of her grave, looking as pitiful as ever. Me, my sister Mary, Jethro, David, Marcellus, and Sepphoris. Right across from us, just on the opposite side of Mother's grave, stood a fresh mound of dirt. This would be the final parting shot, captured through the lens of my childhood memory. Through the years, the scene played over and over in my mind as if it were some epic motion picture whose vivid details would gradually dissipate until I'd recall them once again on this day. Not altogether certain of our own destiny from that day on, I would often long to see my mother again walk through the door, pulling off her coat and scarf, as if returning from a long trip. Growing up without her has been a long and mysterious journey that offered many uncertain questions. How different would my life have been if she were living? I pondered that a lot, only to end up sad and frustrated in my pre-adolescent years. As an adult with children of my own, I came to accept the fact that she was there revealing her presence in many ways that I could never take for granted. She was always there throughout my childhood, deep inside, when the word mama could no longer pass through my lips to another living soul. She was there through passing years as brother and sister were reunited in broken configurations, peering back at us through the eyes of ourselves toward one another. Perhaps the notion is more clearly defined by my own presence in the lives of my own children.